Hello, I'm Janna, and welcome back to the Crafty Corner. I'm so excited to be bringing you a video today for World Card Making Day. I am very thrilled to be part of a collab with Fraps and Scraps, Make All the Things with Me, and Christie's Crafty Cottage, who are our hosts today. There's going to be a fantastic playlist down in the description box, so please check it out and give the other card makers some love. Today is going to be all about fall and, of course, Sizzix with Tim Holtz. If you'd like to see exactly which supplies we're going to be using, go ahead and pause here. All right, let's head over to the Crafty Corner. Today, we are here for World Card Making Day, and I thought this would be a great time to feature a couple of my favorite Tim Holtz Sizzix die sets. So, first, we have got a set from Vault, and this is Foliage Wreath. I want to use a wreath as our main focal point, and of course, give it a fall theme. So we've die cut some pieces from here, and I also got to pull in a really vintage die. This is Autumn Gatherings. And this is a Tim Holtz Alteration Skinny die. So I love these, and you can definitely find them around on eBay if you do a little bit of digging. So it is still floating out there in the universe. But I decided to die cut a whole bunch of leaves from this to help us make our wreath. And of course we have something new. Well, new to me and renewed to the crafty community. This is alphanumeric cut out lower. Case 3/4 of an inch tall. And this was one of this year's little surprises with Sizzix. So really happy to be using these, and this is going to give our card a really fun vibe. So first things first, let's start off with our background. As you know, I'm not really into the whole paper pack thing. Sometimes I'll use Tim Holtz paper for a few backgrounds and a lot of die cutting, but for the most part, I like to do our backgrounds from scratch. So we've got our distress sprayer. Give that a good spray. And for colors today, we're going to be using Uncharted Mariner and Chipped Sapphire. I'm going for a blue skies, but a little bit on the gloomy side background. So just a spray here, a spray there, and then we'll let the water work its magic. Okay, so that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and put this on fast forward as we drip, drop, and dry. Here is our finished background, and we have got some beautiful distress going on here. This was a combination of Chipped Sapphire and Uncharted Mariner. Then we dripped, dropped, and dried and got a little bit of flow going with our colors. So the next thing I want to do is add a little bit of Spritz, and we're going to be pulling in some fossilized amber. This is going to be a nice warm yellow that will add a little bit of sparkle to our background. So we're going to give that a really good shake. Make sure that everything is nicely incorporated, and then spritz. Perfect. All right, we'll be back in just a moment after this has had a chance to dry. Here is the finished background with some spritz. Let's take a quick look at that. And we've definitely got some lovely shine going on here. Very, very sparkly. All right, now let's get building. So for the wreath, I've die cut the wreath portion 3 times because I want to layer this up, and we're going to have 2 different colors. One I cut out of some Sizzix cardstock. This is a textured purple. I like the dark purples. It's very mysterious, very Halloween. And then these 2 pieces I cut out of some patterned Tim Holtz paper. This is some of the wood grain paper. This was the black and white. And I thought that gave it a really interesting texture. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our collage medium and we're going to glue these down right onto the card. We don't need to be overly neat while gluing these pieces. We just need enough glue to get this to stick. If there's a few bits and pieces that happen to stick up, well, then our card will just have a little bit of added dimension. So I'm just carefully spreading this onto that first piece, and go ahead, stick that down. There we go. I'm trying to keep this high enough so that we'll have space for our sentiment. And now for the purple one. This was a craft stock, as you can see. So again, we'll have some very pretty colors to work with. All right, so going pretty light with the glue, nothing crazy. Most of the time I like to do double-sided sticky tape, but for really fine dyes, I found that it's really hard to weed things when dealing with sticky tape. I keep hearing about using a Xyron for tricky pieces like that, but I have yet to get one, but I'm very, very tempted because I'm definitely not a fan of glue ooze. All right, and layer 3, going right in, adding a dash of glue all around, trying not to get too much on here, just enough to make things stick. Okay, almost done. All right, I would say that is good. And that can go right here. So I'm just going to hold that for a second. There we go. And then we can start building with the leaves. This is going to be my absolute favorite part. So just kind of spreading out the leaves so I can see what we've got to play with, and we've got lots of different leaves to choose from. I die cut these from a variety of papers. We've got some sparkle deco paper, we've got some alcohol ink, we've got some standard craft paper, all sorts of little bits and pieces. I've got some leftovers from other backgrounds that I've done. I love that these are all different. It's going to make this a lot more interesting. There we go. All right, so now let's start gluing. So I'm just going to start with some of these sparkling leaves, and I'm going to just try to tuck things here and there and just let this build. I think if I start with the sparkly pieces first, it's going to be easier to distribute the other pieces so that I don't have too many things clumping in the same general area. It's not really going to be symmetrical, but I just want to space out my colors so that we get lots of variety. All right, let's go in with some red next. I'm just going to add stuff here and there. Oh, I just love all the color options that we got. That is making me really happy. Okay. That seems good. Now let's go in with some yellow pieces. Now, I don't really have any rhyme or reason for how I am decorating. I'm just trying to build this up so that we have some visual interest going on. There. Ooh, let's see here. This piece is neat. Let's try that one. There. Definitely want some yellow over here. So just a little bit here and there. Lots and lots of fun. I do love collaging things out like this. It makes me happy with all the little parts and pieces and watching something grow from nothing into something. I do love watching that happen. Okay, pretty good. Liking what I'm seeing. I've got some more yellow I can add. There. That could go a little lower. I could get another little red piece over here. There we go. Definitely need something else over here. Oh, I've got these little flower pieces. These are interesting. Just gonna try to get the backing off that. There we go. Little floral there, and we can do a little floral over here. Sometimes in those alcohol ink pieces, I'm not sure if I added double-sided sticky tape or not. There we go. That's good. I need a little bit more, but not a lot of more. So let's see. Let's tuck something over here. There we go. I think that is looking great. I'm definitely happy with that, but I'm also thinking I need to add something extra. Okay, so the wreath definitely needs a little bit of extra, and I just remembered I've got these really cool little jimmies. It's called Gold Eclipse Embellishment Mix. So let's try adding a few of these into our wreath. We'll see how that goes. So I'm just going to kind of like add little bits of glue here and there, and we'll add in little golden accents. I think that's going to bring the entire thing together, because it definitely needs just a little bit more something. I just wasn't quite sure what it needed. There we go. That's gonna look great. I'm definitely happy I saw that little box on my desk. Now, I did find these at Simon Says Stamps, so they should probably be really, really easy to find. Okay, we've got a bunch of different sizes here. So we're just gonna take those very carefully and drop them onto some glue dots. Now I'm just using collage medium, so any glue ooze should shrink. It's one of my favorite things about collage medium. It doesn't lead to gluing type disasters. Just a little bit of glue and it will hold things in place. Okay, let's see here. Got a few more dots. Not that many more, but enough that we'll be able to finish placing these. Just trying to go one at a time. One thing I really should grab is one of those wax pencils so that you can move around these little gem pieces with a bit more ease. It would be a very good thing to have at the craft desk. I don't often use little gem things, but when I do find it difficult to pick them up with my fingers. Okay, one more. No, two more. All right. And now we're down to one more. Pretty good. I am liking how that is turning out. That little bit of extra bling, I think, really brings everything back together. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to want to do is add our border, and then we'll finish it off with our sentiment. So for the border, I have some Tim Holtz Ideology decorative tape, and we're just going to get a little bit of ATG to help this stick around the edges, because the tape doesn't always like to stick the first time down. So I like to give it a little extra help. Okay, and we just take a finger, run that along the edge to make sure there isn't any overhang with the tape. Makes things just a lot easier and then less sticky later. Okay, I've got the tape. Take that, line it up, press it down, and I always leave like a little tail to tuck under the edge of the card to keep everything looking nice and neat. So we're just going to work our way all the way around. I'm going to lift off that leaf for a moment. I'll put it back once I have my tape on here. Good. Again, lift, run a finger, make sure that's not going to stick up, and place tape down. There we go. Generally not bad. Okay. So halfway there, only two more sides to go, and we'll put that leaf back that's trying to wander off. Just add just a teeny bit more glue, just so that doesn't wander. Good. That can go right back here. Turn the card. Run another line of glue of tape. Excellent. And there we go. Almost there. I love a good washi tape border. I think it brings cards together, and it's probably what I'd call one of my signature looks. It's kind of how you know a card when you see it, if it's from the Crafty Corner. So I do like to add that little signature mark when I can. Okay, good. And last bit of tape. Great. And tucking that last little bit. That is looking good. And of course I need to add some droplets. Droplets are another thing I love to use to finish off a card. Just adds a little bit of extra bling, and it's going to tie right into those little gems that we added onto the wreath. So a little glue drop in every corner. And now we'll just grab 4 of the same size and place them down. Okay, 4 of a kind. Now let's add them in. Good. Okay, that, I don't know why, but I really want to move that over just a little bit. There we go, slightly better. All right, now the question is, where do we want to put the sentiment? In the center? Or do we want it to go on the bottom? Kind of leaning towards the center right now. Now, I can always just place these and then we can glue them in. Yeah, I'm thinking in the center would look really good. Yep, center it is. So we're just going to take a little bit of glue, add that to each of these letters, and stick those down. So we've got the sentiment, Happy Fall, which is perfect. The leaves are turning, the weather's getting a little colder, and now I'm in my all-time favorite season. I love fall. The colors are great, the temperature is perfect, and it's all things cozy. And cozy is one of my favorite things. To me, cozy is having on warm, fuzzy sweatpants, a baggy t-shirt, and maybe a blanket over the lap, and a good cup of hot cocoa nearby. And better yet, if I'm crafting, then it's really perfect. So fall is my go-to season. Not to mention you get yummy things like hot rolls and corn chowder. Those are some of my favorite things to have in the fall. And stew and pot roast. I'm hungry just thinking about that. But the fall has my favorite foods, my favorite colors, and just gorgeous weather. And we've been so lucky lately here in Lower Quebec. It's been blue skies, beautiful leaves, cool nights, and warm days. Can't get better than that. But today we are in the craft room making, and I'm really happy to be able to be part of World Card Making Day. I think that's a great way to celebrate a lovely time of year. Okay, almost done with these letters. These have just got such a fun little vibe. I love the whole paper cut look to them. Not a whole lot of detail, but they just have this whimsical look, and I think that fits this card really well. There we go, and one more L. All right, there we go. Here is our completed fall card. Today we've been playing with the Tim Holtz Sizzix die sets, alphanumeric, cut out lower, and Vault Foliage Wreath, along with the retired die set Autumn Gatherings. Thank you so much for joining me here today at the Crafty Corner for World Card Making Day. Don't forget to check out all of the other awesome card makers down in the description box. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video with some fall foliage. Until next time, happy crafting!